and you're watching people who want to be involved in a campaign that seems and feels like a winning campaign. We know we have, short.
This afternoon, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi joined a growing list of Democrats who are supporting Vice President Kamala Harris for the party's nomination. President Joe Biden announced Sunday he's withdrawing from the race. Today, Harris welcomed NCAA champions to the White House in her first public event since Biden's announcement. Harris is inheriting Biden's campaign team and is also meeting with staff members in Delaware today. Harris says she wants to earn the nomination and has been working the phone lines to line up delegates and raise money. The campaign says it's taken in roughly $80 million in donations. That has been just since Sunday afternoon. Now, Democratic Party leaders spent the day consolidating support behind Harris. Paul Murphy has reaction from local leaders to the sudden turn of events on the campaign trail.
And I barely went up to talk to him because
Sunday, Joe Biden announced he is stepping away from the 2024 presidential race. He said he would endorse Vice President Kamala Harris to take his place on top of the Democratic ticket. Former New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu was co-chair of the Biden campaign. He said Harris, a former prosecutor, can absolutely beat the Republican nominee, Donald Trump.
She's not only highly qualified for the job and ready to be the president on day one,
he said that?
She also is particularly equipped to deal with a guy that's got 34 felony convictions and who also has been declared a sexual abuser.
Another former mayor of New Orleans, National Urban League President Mark Morial, said Harris's presence changes the dynamics of the presidential race.
Now it's an election between a Gen Xer, someone in their 50s, versus someone who is nearly 80, who represents, I think, the politics of the past.
Tulane University political scientist Brandon Davis says while Biden is dropping out of the race, age remains a concern.
First is going to happen that Kamala Harris will become the nominee. Then the roles are kind of switched to whereas you had Biden as the oldest in history, now Trump becomes the oldest in history.
She's got to earn the delegates. She's got to earn votes. She's got to get out there and campaign strong and tough.
Of course, the vice president is going to be the Democratic nominee, which I'm thrilled with. She's been a great friend of Louisiana, a great friend of New Orleans. I think she's got a great chance to win.
Landrieu said he expects to stay on as co-chair of the Harris for President campaign. Paul Murphy, WWL, Louisiana.
Sunday, Donald Trump told CNN Kamala Harris will be easier to beat than Joe Biden would have been. He told CBS News, quote, "I think she's no better than him. She could be far less competent, which is hard to believe," end quote.
Yesterday, President Biden announced he was going to bow out of the 2024 presidential race, writing in a statement
so the people who are at Grace
while it has
now
been my
have moved
intention to
from
seek
those
re-election,
conservative
I believe it is in the best
And they're
interest of my
slightly
party
liberal
and the country
from those
for me to
conservative
stand
places,
down
and they've
and to
settled
focus
at
solely
Grace,
on fulfilling
our
my
church,
duties as president
because they think it's liberal.
for the remainder of my term. This is what everybody was asking for, and this was the decision that
talking to
he
people
made.
who left Grace.
And is everybody okay?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's the first president since 1968 to step down. I think it shows what a statesman he is. I think it shows what a patriot he is. I think it shows that he can put his country before his ego, because he had such a great record as president. I think that history will note him as one of the greatest presidents that we've had. I really do believe that. And I wasn't comfortable with the notion that people were forcing him out. I wasn't comfortable with the cannibalization that I saw in the Democratic Party. But I am comfortable if he made this decision with his inner circle with Dr. Jill Biden, with his family, and decided to do it on his own. The fact that he has endorsed the Vice President Kamala Harris to be his successor makes it even more clear to me that it's not if she's going to be the nominee, it is when she is the nominee. So
I was sad. As I've said here many times, I love Joe Biden, and I'm full of gratitude to Joe Biden today. So, Joe Biden, thank you for everything. Over 54 years of career. So I was sad, in the way that when you see a champion athlete retire, leave it all on the field, and walk away into the sunset, that made me sad. It gave me nostalgia. I was also mad because he's been dragged relentlessly for 3 weeks by some people who supposedly were his friends. I hope that a lot of those donors that went out and said all sorts of things about him come back with a big check now. George Clooney, es contigo. You know, I'm grateful to his staff. I am grateful to Jill Biden.
President Biden won 86% of the Democratic vote in Louisiana's primary earlier this year. Our Democratic leaders have repeatedly said that they stood behind him, even as pressure mounted for him to step down. Lily Cummings shows us what they and Louisiana Republicans are saying right now.
Till the end of my day.
So I am also
From the local to the national level, Louisiana leaders are weighing in on President Joe Biden's announcement to withdraw from the presidential race. Take a look. Governor Jeff Landry posted on X, formerly known as Twitter,
biggest job in the world. And I don't think those people that are friends, even George Clooney's op-ed,
matters not whether President Biden seeks re-election. President Trump is running to correct the failed policies of the left, championed by every replacement nominee. But local Democrats are supportive of the idea of Vice President Kamala Harris becoming the nominee. Council President Helena Moreno posted today saying that Harris is the obvious, unifying, and exciting choice for the nominee. Congressman Troy Carter also posting his support of the VP, saying, "Today we honor the substantial contributions of the 46th president. His decision to pass the torch is an amazingly selfless act that resonates deeply with the American people." But meanwhile, some Republicans are raising concerns over states that have already held their primary elections with Biden on the ballot, such as Louisiana. Majority Leader Steve Scalise posting on X that by forcing Joe Biden off the ticket, Democrats are trashing the primary choice of 14 million of their own voters.
He has continued to drag
Speaker Mike Johnson going as far as saying that Biden should resign now, saying, quote, "If Joe Biden is not fit to run for president, he is not fit to serve as president." However, the Louisiana Democratic Party says this is an opportunity to focus.
That Lincoln question is now answered, and we could move forward and move on to building unity with the party, as well as align ourselves behind the presumptive Democratic nominee. And we can start to concentrate on the issues now that are important to the party and important to this country.
Do you think this gives the party enough time to get behind a new candidate before November?
We would love to have more time. As always, additional time in the campaign is always beneficial.
But the Louisiana Democratic Party tells me they support Harris and that given her experience on the national stage, they believe she's ready to run this campaign under a tight timeline. Lily Cummings, WWL, Louisiana.
And just hours before President Biden made his announcement today, Speaker Johnson also said GOP leaders might seek legal action.
We lived through it in 2020. 2020 was a hellish year. Now it's like something totally different. And I'll be honest, I'm just excited.
I think a lot of people are excited.
I'm bored by it. I'm telling you. I'm bored by it. Yeah, I'm bored by it.